This video was sponsored by Zip. That's right, it's your boy, Sponic the Hedgehog, the reasonably fast blue character Sega calls for sponsorships. And this time, they want me to tell you about Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, starting with the fact that the game is available... Wait, what day is it? No, right now! It is available right now on PC and all major consoles. Additionally, cleverly staying true to the whole CrossWorlds theme, the game features full crossplay across all platforms. Does not matter which version you've got, you can play with everyone else. And you can thank me for that. Yeah, they were like, hey, I don't know if we can do crossplay. And I was like, you gotta do crossplay. And they were like, okay. So, you're welcome. Anyway, hit the link in the description to pick up the game for yourself. And in the meantime, here's an impressions video. Sonic-y transition zoom! Many years ago, I had the demo for Sonic Racing Transformed, and I really liked it, and I heard the game was great, but I never got a chance to play the whole thing. And I have regretted this ever since. So I am pleased that now I've got a chance to right that wrong and finally dig into a whole Sonic Racing game and see what kind of stuff I've been missing. I'll start by saying that CrossWorlds feels really, really good to play. I am not good at racing games at the best of times, yet I was really surprised by how quickly I got the hang of this one. Different karts have different stats and control a little differently, of course, but it didn't take long for me to find one that worked, and it just felt really good. I love how this game feels. I love how it responds to my inputs. The drifting just feels right to me. And there are certain other kart racing games out there that feel really rubber bandy, like even if I do really well, I never get ahead as much as I feel like I should. But here, getting the controls down, learning the tracks, and mainly handling drifting and turning correctly is immensely rewarding. There's a real sense of momentum, like you can get going so fast when you don't make any mistakes and you take the turns just right. I appreciate how the game really rewards skillful playing. It doesn't just feel like luck of the draw, you know, like what items you get or what items your opponents get. Don't get me wrong though, there is some of that luck element. This is a kart racer. Like, of course, the items are very important. But on that note, I am not a competitive player, and maybe I'll feel differently after playing more with real people, but it feels like the item balancing is decently good. You do slow down a lot when you get hit, but at least in my experience, it still feels like driving well is the most important thing. There is that chaotic element, there is that random chance. Players will make each other very, very angry. Again, it's a kart racer, it's kind of necessary, but that chaos doesn't dominate the game as much as it could. You know, like, you've still got to have really good timing and aim to use a lot of these items. Players in higher ranks still get pretty good items, so the person in first doesn't just dominate the whole race. And what probably helps the absolute most, there are multiple defensive items. You know, there are a lot of items that target you, some that are mostly unavoidable, but you can hang on to a shield or a tornado to save yourself. And this gives you that much more agency, that much more protection against the random chaos. And I think it works really well. Like, this isn't just something that happens when you're lucky and you happen to get one of these items. No, like, they're really common. This is actually a really big part of the game. The game also gives you these nice little pop-ups that remind you when you've got an item that can save you. I really appreciate that. I am not the most observant person. And you see, it is in these thoughtful little considerations where Sonic Racing CrossWorlds shines, in my opinion. It acts like a standard kart racer in all the ways you'd you'd expect, which made it easy for me to just pick up and start playing. You know, you're drifting around corners, you're throwing items around, you got your Grand Prix and all that. Like, it's all comfortably familiar. But I love the Sonic personality injected into it, and I love all of the bits that make it unique. Probably my favorite, like this genuinely might be my favorite thing about this game. You know how generally the longer you drift around a corner, the bigger your boost when you release the button? This game actually gives you a gauge showing you what level you've built up and how close you are to the next one. And I don't know if this is new to this game or what, but it's the first kart racer I've played that does it. This is not only incredibly helpful, but it also just compels me even more to build up good boosts. I don't know, like it just makes the whole idea that much more satisfying. It's some like psychological thing for me. It turns every single corner in the game into like a little mini game that I'm like super focused on. I also love how when you let go of the drift button, there's like this tiny little fraction of a second delay before the boost happens. And I don't know why I like this as much as I do. I guess it's just like this extra little split second to make sure your trajectory is right. Maybe it's a feedback thing as well. I don't know, it just feels great. I also like how much the game has you switching between kart, plane, and I guess I'll call it hovercraft modes. Like, you'll be doing plenty of all three on just about any track, and it moves you between these modes a lot. I just love how much variety this adds to the gameplay. Each mode is so different. Plane mode gives you something of a breather, you know, like a nice little moment to focus mainly on your aim. It's not quite so crazy with the items. But then hovercraft mode is nuts. You can build up a boost even if you're not drifting, and you jump when you do it. And I haven't even mentioned yet, tricking. Whenever you're in midair with your kart or your hovercraft, you can flick the stick to trick, and this builds up crazy boosts when you land. But then when you're on the water, you're constantly charging and boosting and jumping and tricking, and it gets absolutely bonkers. It's tricky to do right, but it's so much fun. So the gameplay is phenomenal. It's fast, it's rewarding, it's always changing, but the whole experience is lifted up that much more thanks to some extraordinary tracks. Design-wise, these tracks are just so impressive. Every single one is a gem, and I mean that. They all feature great mixes of your tighter, twisty turns and your wider curves where you can build up huge boosts. They've all got unique features and loads of variety. Just like a good Sonic game, there are tons of branching paths. Sometimes they branch really wildly. You'll even take different vehicles in different directions. But even when you're all on one path, there are always so many different options to choose from, different strategies to consider. And then sometimes things will change between laps, even like items and rings and stuff. Rings increase your top speed, and you've got a really high cap, so they're all over the track. You're constantly collecting them, and they're really thoughtfully placed. You're always figuring out on the fly if you want to go for the rings, or the item blocks, or the boost pads, or the ramps so you can trick. Drifting around big turns is even more fun when you've got all these strings of rings to aim for. Collecting them is just constantly satisfying. They can kind of help guide you through a track as well. I'm consistently surprised by how well designed and exciting these tracks are. And of course, there's the stylistic element. Ever since I was a kid, one of my favorite things about Sonic games was the environments. The franchise has always excelled here, and CrossWorlds is pretty much as good as it gets. It's the mix between these sleek, futuristic urban places and the more natural ones. It's the weird ruins and cities where you wonder who even lives here. It's the grand Eggman-style industrial places. It's all just so imaginative, just bursting with creativity. The art design is superb, it's so colorful, and I'm playing on PS5, and the image and all the texture work and everything, it's sharp as a tack. I have moved through these tracks however many dozens of times by now, and I never get tired of taking it all in. Even more, this is CrossWorlds. The game's whole hook is that you've got these ring portals that can transport you to different tracks. And I must say, this is a genuinely cool idea that impacts the experience a lot more than I expected. The beginning of lap 2 always presents an option to the player in the lead. Depending on what they pick, the whole lap takes place on a totally different course. There's a whole separate selection of these CrossWorlds, and then later you even unlock the ability to have lap 2 be on a traditional track as well. And the last race in a Grand Prix is always the previous 3 tracks all stitched together, so it's kind of like a little remix, which I think is really clever. So in every race, you're always changing location, always dipping into new places. It brings that much more variety to the game. And every track is so delightful that it barely even matters what gets picked. It always feels good to go through the portal and emerge somewhere else. It's a little like bumping into a friend at the grocery store, you know? Every time it's just like, oh, hey, it's this track. Oh, yeah, I love this track. I just love it. It's such a wild card. It makes every race feel that much more unique. It's also very funny how the other racers will, like, make fun of your choices or get mad that they didn't get to pick. So it will come as no surprise to anyone that I really like what CrossWorlds offers a solitary player. You've got lots of customization options. You can unlock a whole bunch of different machines, and you can change out their parts to alter their stats and their looks, and you can change the color palettes and the decals, all that. The absolute best, though, is the gadgets. You can soup up your machine with all sorts of gadgets that give all sorts of bonuses. Starting the race with certain items, making certain items stronger, giving you bonus rings when you do a certain thing, increasing your maximum ring limit, adding a 4th level to your drift boost. They come in lots of different categories and strengths, and you increase the number of gadget slots you've got as you play, and the better ones take up more slots, so you gotta be kind of strategic. And perhaps predictably, I absolutely love this. This is just absolutely a me kind of thing. I love this kind of customization. I love trying out different loadouts and coming up with something that fits my own personal style. The bonuses you get can be so strong. I can't wait to see what the community favorites end up being. And you keep unlocking new gadgets as you play, so there's always something new to try out. You also earn tickets pretty much all the time. That's like your main currency, and you can use these to buy stuff like machine parts. You can also use tickets to retry races in Grand Prix, which is really, really great. If you mess one race up and you don't want to redo the whole thing, I appreciate that. There's even a side thing where you spend tickets to make the characters like you more, and they give you stuff. It's weird, but I don't know. It's cool. I'll spend money to make Shadow like me more. Sure. You've also got a whole list of challenges to work toward with its own set of rewards. Every track has a collection of red star rings to find. I think that's really neat. I've never seen that in a racing game before. And even just the Grand Prix themselves offer a pretty good amount to do. Lots of cups, multiple difficulty options. I won't show it here, but supersonic speed is crazy fast and crazy fun. And then there's this fun little rival thing. Instead of just trying to beat a Grand Prix, you're trying to beat a rival. If you want to, you can increase their level to earn more rewards if you beat them. And I haven't done it yet, but there seems to be some sort of reward for beating every rival, so that's another thing to work toward. I like how you get these cute little character interactions with your rivals. There are lots of unique combinations between characters. It's cool, even if the game is mostly about the racing. I like that you've got all these little things to earn, you know, new stuff is always coming in. There are indeed some side modes though. You've got time trials, which is always nice to have, and then race park is kind of like the party mode. These are still races, but you race in teams with special track conditions and goals. Like for example, one of them is all about hitting your opponents with items, and every time someone on your team hits an opponent, you fill up your gauge a little bit, and when the gauge fills up all the way, the entire team gets one big boost, which is really cool. Race park is more of a fun little diversion when you want to mess around with your friends or take a break from regular races, but I like it. If anything, the whole team element with the team boost thing, it makes it fairly unique. And I didn't get to play online before the servers went live for launch, but it must be noted again that this game supports full crossplay. Anybody can race with anyone else on any platform, and considering this game is on essentially every platform, I think that's quite nice. All in all, I'm really impressed with Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. The gameplay is tight, the drifting feels perfectly tuned, the tracks are well designed, the overall presentation is delightful. It's a classic example of the kart racing genre in all the right ways, but then brings in its own little spins and adds its own thoughtful little details that really lift up the experience. Honestly, I can't stop picking it up. I've been having a heck of a lot of fun with it.
I humbly accept that I'm the best.
Transition back to me! Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is available right now on all major platforms. I may have said that already, but I don't remember. I'm too fast. I'm too fast to have a good memory. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking to the future. There's no time for the past. And if you want to pick up the game for yourself, just hit the link down in the description. Did I say that already too? Who knows? I don't know. I'm already past it. See you later. See ya! Come on, buddy, it's a parking lot. Jeez. Can someone check and see if I'm gonna hit the curb?